you're live. So I guess what I would say, Jim, is like, what was the greatest value, and what would you, and then maybe bring up how it was for you virtually.
Sure. The greatest value for me has been the incredible connection we've had with the 12 or 15 people on the screen. And even though it's been virtual and remote, we didn't lose that connection. And my fear coming into it was that we wouldn't have that. But it's been apparently it's been great, and it's been there. One of the cool things I did notice initially was that in a normal meeting we don't see each other's faces, but here I get to see everybody's face, and so that's an additional connection we'd never have in person. The value that I got was I honestly didn't feel I was going to get value, but I've got tremendous value. I've learned a lot. I've shared a lot, and I've heard a lot, and I've got a lot of insight on how to use the tools that you're teaching us. And I feel very confident in it, and knowing that I need practice, which I'll do, but I'll be able to use this to help further my mission. So it's been incredible.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate those kind words, and I'm so glad you got that value. Snap your fingers. Okay, so then we'll go. I'll try to keep track. So then I think I saw Lester's hand next, then Andy, then we'll go wherever else. So hold on, Lester. Okay, we got you, full frame. So the same thing, what was most valuable, and then what was it like with this virtual experience?
So I think I'll go along with everything that, I'll say this in a funny, complimentary way. So it's funny that we have to pay a bunch of money to hear a bunch of stuff that we probably should know already and that I've heard a million times. So it's been always my aha moments with you through mentorship and now Freedom Council and now this. So, I think I always pride myself, and I've been recording a personal testimonial, tracking my own progress every day when we get done. And the one I did after yesterday was, man, I have always prided myself on being a pretty good salesperson myself. I had a really good, sales career. I was the head of sales for all of North America for a very large organization. And so I think that I'm better than the average at this. And when you come to find out how much better you could do it, and things that are just like, man, the two analogies that you say about the mechanic and the doctor, right? So, I am so in love with numbers and our solution being able to, save everybody money that, it's kind of like, I'll ask you the questions, but I'm really not necessarily caring what the answer is because I already know which way I'm going to take you anyway. And so, I did it because you're supposed to ask. But I think what my biggest takeaway to this week has been truly the level of engagement. I think I know that we're absolutely going to get by asking the questions and being genuinely caring about what the answer is. Even if the solution at the end of the day is the same thing, I think how you deliver it, how you talk about it, and more importantly, the aspects of it that can help that person get to their goal and objective and solve a pain, becomes infinitely infinitely more valuable. And more importantly for, I think, the user, the salesperson, I think you're going to get so much more out of the journey because it becomes less of a task and more of a service, I think, from that perspective. And then the virtual thing, I think I'm going to leave the testimonial in a two-part. I am the epitome of ADD. I don't read books because I can't sit still that long. My attention spans in 15-minute increments. And not only Thursday and Friday did, we wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work a full day, then 8 hours of this. And every single night I have either had to drink bourbon or take melatonin to fall asleep because I've been so jazzed when we get done with this. And we've been sitting still the whole time. So I think from a ability to keep your interest and whatnot, it has been huge. And I will 100% echo what Jim said in regards to the personal connection, but an interesting personal connection without maybe some of the vulnerability or maybe awkwardness, the eye staring thing that we did in the beginning. I still felt a super big connection with Broncard. I've never met the dude, but in real life, I would have been like kind of a little bit apprehensive, being, nose to nose with him. So I think, it's allowed the best of both worlds, the connection felt, but maybe your inhibitions and maybe some of the preconceived notions that you might have had because you're in the safety, the safety net of my own home. Like, right, I'm in my own house right now. I'm in a safe spot, but the vulnerability that you're able to provide out and also get has been amazing. So I go virtual high five for everybody for playing along and doing that. But Steve, I commend you for continuing to do this, because it would have been super easy to bail and be like, yeah, we're not going to get out of it. So thanks for doing it. You're welcome, Lester. And one point real quick for you, Lester, you can hear me, right? Is that you do know where a lot of people need to go, and your instincts serve you right. So most of the time you're probably right. You do know where they need to go. When you're asking the question, just think of it this way. This is the biggest thing for you, is that you speak two languages. So if someone speaks Spanish and you try to speak English to them, it's going to be a hell of a time. And if you just speak Spanish, it's easy. Right? So remember that even though you're speaking the same language with someone, you're not, because their words and the way that their mind works from the way that they grew up, because they grew up differently than you in a different house, in a different way, and they have different, and even if we're in the same country, there is differences, because there's even family culture, just like, there's business culture. So we think, oh, all Puerto Ricans are the same. That's not true at all. And that all Americans are the same. That's not true. Any culture. So your job with these questions is to get to know and make sure that you're correct. So you're confirming that you're correct with the destination, but you're also finding out their language so you can speak their language, and then boom, you're going to have so much even more ease. And you're right. You're already great at this. Now you're just going to get that extra edge, so the proficiency will be even higher. So I just wanted to put it in those words so that would just register. You were pretty much saying it, but I just wanted it to hit home. So. And thank you for sharing. And those of you that just popped on, we're just doing some quick things of what's been the greatest value, and then how was it virtually, because I want to share this with others, and I want to do this again. And so your words matter. And then let's go to Andy next, Alan.
So my answer is going to be
One second. Hold on. Let me get you full frame. Okay. Go ahead, Andy.
My answer is going to be a lot shorter than Lester's.
That's good. It'll be less editing. I love you, Lester.
For me, the biggest value, this was a game changer, Steve, because as somebody who's in the early stages of building a coaching business, I realized the part I was weakest at was, say, the discovery call with a potential coaching client. My problem was I would probably dive right into solutions for that individual right away versus walking them through this process to get them to feel that pain and that emotion to the point where they know they need to hire you. And so just having this process for my first connection with a potential coaching client to making them a client, that was the game changer. And so this is exactly what I needed. And then the second piece with the virtual, I love live events. I thrive off the energy of live events. So I was interested to see how this would go, but I'm going to agree with what Lester and Jim had to say. There's people in this group I've never met, but I feel like I know them now. And I think you did a masterful job with the breakouts, because I think virtual breakouts are something I had not experienced before. And I think they've been, that piece alone makes you almost feel like you're there live.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, brother. And just if anybody else says anything, one thought that just went through my head, let's not reference the other names, because I might just use your video and then they won't know what Lester or Jim said if they just watched your thing. But it's totally fine. We're not going to redo this. Andy, what you said is beautiful, and we'll use it however it is. So I'm not that particular on it, but just something to mention for everyone else moving forward. It'll be a little easier, just in case we ISO it. And thank you for those words. And I'm glad you got so much value, Andy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that this afternoon. Exactly my process from start to end. So we'll like even put an extra thread in there to secure what your learning is. Okay, can you go back to everyone? Unpin Andy, just so I could see everyone's face. I don't know who else want to go. Is Mark and then Melissa? I might have missed who went for, and then we'll go Alvaro. So Mark, Melissa. Okay, Mark, you are full frame.
All right, so I think the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this event is it's got me out of my comfort zone. It's made me look at questions that I've asked prior to this event in a different way, and the ability to rephrase a person's needs and concerns really, I think, makes a huge difference. And it's about really getting real with the person. And a lot of times in a sales situation, it's you're kind of thinking, hey, it's let me talk about me or let me talk about my product. This is really getting you to find out what their needs are, what they really desire, and build that true relationship. And a lot of the feedback that I've gotten has been very helpful. And it's been a little frustrating at times for me, but it's been something that I think I can do and improve on. And it's the way I want to position myself and use as I continue my career. As far as the virtual meetings, I like them. I think that we're going to start seeing more and more using virtual technology and having our calls even to our clients like this. So the ability to be able to see how this would work, not only for a conference, but how I could use this type of technology as I go and schedule calls or meetings with clients, I think is something that's very, very valuable. And I don't think it's taken any thing away from the rapport and relationships I've made during this conference. So thanks, Steve.
Hold on. I said, thank you, Mark. I totally agree with you. And even we've been talking about, we're like, this is kind of fantastic. I mean, even for me, the hotel I use is only like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes from my house, but it really feels like it saves 2 hours a day for me. Because by the time I get in my car, go there and all that. So that's just one thing. Plus the level of engagement. Plus I do know that we'll have more people participate because some people just can't fit it into their schedule to fly. You end up adding a day on either side. And I'm not saying I'm going to do away from my live events because I think it's awesome to be in person every once in a while. But what if I did do less and I did more of these, or I did the same amount of in person, but I was able to do more of these, then it's beautiful. And same to you, like looking how you're going to use this in your business is beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. So then we'll go to Melissa.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Melissa. Okay. You're full frame. Go ahead.
So I think for me, just being able to get out of my comfort zone, when you opened, some of the things that you talked about in the beginning were about success does not always feel normal. And to me, you know, as you're working different muscles, you're digging deeper, you're stepping out of that comfort zone. For me, that's really significant. I am not a person that likes to go to an emotional level. I found that out. But the additional questions of just continuing to ask the question, you know, and what will that do for you? I mean, it really does not only allow you to connect with other people, but it allowed me the self-reflection to really understand where I want to go in terms of my own business. Because I think in some ways I haven't been able to get to that level in my own mind. in my own heart to figure out, like, what is my product? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And how do I want to solve people? You know, how do I really want to help people? Because really, that's what I want to do, is contribute to the community and give back in a way that impacts others. And so for me, it was a journey on both sides. And I just want to thank everybody that participated, because while I didn't know many people before this call, I absolutely felt a connection, even though it was virtual. I'm all feeling all emotional right now. But it's, you know, the feedback that I got, everybody has just been so receptive and willing at, you know, to know that other people have been here like 3 or 4 different times and maybe I haven't. So I just appreciate everybody for, you know, kind of rotating around and giving me different perspectives in terms of observing other people, but also getting great feedback. So just want to appreciate everybody for that.
Thank you, Melissa, and we appreciate you. Truly, like I said this at the beginning, this is together. It's not a lot of, and I think it's a mistake when speakers think that it's about them. You know, like if we're going to truly empower people or teach people, it takes two. You know, if you're all by yourself speaking, you're not really, you know, then using the voice to do what it can do. So this is a beautiful exchange, and this course is all about together, because you're learning in every breakout, and you're learning together, and you're teaching each other, and it's beautifully. So that was well said, Melissa, just including everyone. Thank you. Does anybody remember who I said was next? Was it Alvaro? Yeah. And then we'll go where we go. So, okay, Alvaro, you are full frame. So what was the greatest value, and then what was it like virtually? You're muted, brother. Take 2.
Thank you. What I would say is that, first of all, I joined Steve's team late last year, so it was really important both for him and for me to have this direct experience, and it's been extremely wonderful. Not only has this course provided us with very simple step-by-step ways of having a business conversation, and so one of the things that I found so much value is like this simplifying the steps, you know, chunking it down into things that are realistic, and having a process of how to go from the beginning all the way to the end. And I also, another thing that is related to this virtual thing is how Steve has been leading by example. So we are faced with this situation right now that we can't move. We had this thing planned to do it live, and all of a sudden we can't do it. So realizing, accepting the current circumstances how they are, and being able to adapt on the fly, right? And being able to pull it off in this way with the support team that he's got and all the creativity. It's been really, really amazing. So leading by example, chunking it down, those I would say are some of the key elements that I find success with this program. So thank you.
Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you so much. And then, would anybody else like to share? Good? Everyone's good? Okay. I really appreciate all of you that shared, and I'm so glad that you're all getting value. I'm curious, now that we got through half the day, if we take a moment, I think I got this, I wrote down Jim, Melissa, Andy, Lester, Mark, and Alvaro all gave talked about the value of this course, what's great for them, and then also what it's like to do it virtually, and we're trying to collect those. So I didn't know if anybody else before we jump in if they want. Yeah, Ying, would you like to do that? Yeah, so if anyone, then what we'll do is that we'll make you full frame so that we can capture the video. And then if you just tell us those two things, what was the greatest value from win-win in general? And then what was the experience like? Because we want to encourage more people to be willing to do this, because some people are hesitant. And so having this experience, it would be great to hear from you. So
Absolutely.
go ahead, Ying.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Yay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm muted. So from my experience, firstly, thank you so much for having me having this experience, letting me having this experience. I think the biggest value I have got from this whole 4 days so far is the community and this real interactive learning experience and practice experience, and really kind of learning from everybody's experience and integrate it into my own practice, which is, I found it's really, really invaluable. Because even though it's you leading the class, and yet being able to just learn from every single student, and being able to also contribute our own expertise to everyone in a way. When we're doing this practice, it's almost like we're also doing a session with others. And in the meantime, I just saw there's so many business opportunity. It's already happening. Like people started to exchange contacts. I was able to provide some of my classes to some of the folks here, and it's amazing to kind of see. This is like a very natural networking because we really believe in what we do. So it comes out very naturally. And there are people who has the talent who can actually help to solve our problem. Like I was just having a great conversation with Marie because I was asking her, she was the observer when Avro and we were having a chat, and then she's like, I can help you with project management, and this is kind of just coming very naturally. And I think it's like authentic learning sales and authentically selling. But in the meantime, this is just like, we learn so much from the whole experience, and we actually apply it in the meantime. That's like really, really amazing. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's beautiful. And then is there any comment about being virtual, like how the experience was in a virtual setting?
Oh, definitely. I think being virtual, like if it's not virtual, I probably wouldn't be able to do this, as you know, because I don't have a car and I live in San Francisco. So last time I was lucky because it was Jessica happened to take in the weekend, so she can give me and Vitalia a ride. And at the time also Vitalia was the person. I'm so grateful that Vitalia introduced me to you last year. And if it's not because of virtual, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. And I probably wouldn't have the courage to push all my other meetings, because I was looking at the meeting, I was like, oh, it's pretty. And also I really appreciate the fact that you made it so easy. And I was also able to meet all my Aussie friends. This is kind of awesome. I was able to have my accent back, so that's a bonus.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ying, for sharing. I really do appreciate those of you that feel compelled to share. And Alvaro, all of you that did it, I appreciate. And also, if the training assistants too, if Todd or Stephanie, Will or Giovanni wanted to say anything, opening it up to you as well, because you've been through the course. And, those of you that have done it in person and virtually, that would be cool. If anybody else, so just opening it back up. Does anybody else want to share? Daniel?
Yeah, I just wanted to share, the experience over the last 4 days has been really amazing from the first day through today. And I know that Steve's been saying since day one, just wait until day 4, and all of this just really molds together. And in the group session that we just had prior to the break, the guy that I was in there with, it just, the penny just dropped, and they gave me that critical feedback, which it just, everything clicked into place. I was like, oh, wow, you can really put this into a scenario, into a live work environment. And I had been struggling with where to place this and how to place this up until that moment. And then the penny just dropped. And I can see now the extra value add that I can give to to my staff and also to my clients, and how to, really get a deal done and show them it's not just a one-dimensional deal that we're doing here. This is actually I can do this and this and this, and there's so many bolt-ons and add-ons to it. It's really, Danny and I, who we work together, have been messaging each other all weekend because we've been doing this from home and just saying, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. And we literally just got off the phone before the break and we're talking about other things that we need to do and implement. And it's been amazing. And, the virtual aspect of it has been really cool. It's really interesting engaging with people on a face-to-face with a screen and having, having no dialogue, just staring at someone. You kind of get to know them and you feel you're building that rapport straight away. So I think it's fantastic. I would do this again, hands down, for sure.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for all the kind words. And this is it also helps me to understand the value that you're gaining. And so I'm so excited to see what you do with it, as all of you. Like, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Marie.
So I have done it both in person and virtually, and I'm actually really liking this virtual. First off, it gives, a lot of more flexibility. Sometimes it's, hard to be there in person. I like the fact that we actually get to actually see people a little bit more. I know when we're in the room, we definitely, sitting next to somebody, but here on the screen, we're seeing everybody's faces. I like that a lot more. I think this works really well. Even some of the exercises that I was questioning how you were going to do it, you did it, and I have to say, from an event planner standpoint, it's very well produced and professionally done. So that's crucial, for people to want to participate. So I've been telling a lot of people how wonderful that's been. And then what was the other? Did I miss something?
What's your greatest value? What's the greatest value?
Well, repetitive. I mean, it's like what you said. You actually just said it right before the break about mastering something, about reading it, doing it, and teaching it. And I have to say, I have to do it a bunch of times. And this time, I'm like, the last exercise we did, I really got it. And now my thing is to really implement it well with potential clients. So yeah, I really like this. But I agree with you that just repetition is key, and being involved. And if I can just do a little testimonial for the win-win, signing up for that, I was one of the $100 a month ones, so I feel really special.
And she showed up. She's talking about the win-win calls. Yeah,
win-win calls. They're really great. Sometimes I'm not always on every single call, but I like the fact that they're recorded too. But that is, that's just been so helpful for me, especially now with this trying time, is going back and going, okay, how can I pivot, and what do I need to do, and how do I need to do it? So whether we're in a global situation or not, it's super helpful, because it's very interactive. And I like the accountability piece that you have put in recently, because that's what I need the most, because I can show up on a call, but it doesn't mean that I'm always participating really well and doing what I need to do to move forward. But you're helping us do that. And our success is your success. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. It is mutual. Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing. Thank you. And is there anyone else? Just making sure I see all the boxes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for those of you that did that. It's going to help to get people to understand that the virtual can be just as impactful.